The views and opinions expressed by this show are those of the show host and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of STL Hits. Any comments or questions should be directed to the show host, not STL Hits. STL Hits.
Yeah, we don't want to do anything to scare your children. That's the last thing we want to do. We don't want to scare anybody.
Welcome to the Daddy Murray and Nina Show. I'm your host, Daddy Murray, and
I'm Nina. How you doing today?
The other host. Mm-hmm. And today on our show we have Jack Gill, all the way from Liverpool. Hi, Jack. How you doing?
Hey guys, I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. Is it sunny there?
Unfortunately not. No, as you can see, I've got the fleece on. It's not very warm at the moment, unfortunately.
Yeah, we're pretty cold here too. We're around 50 degrees today, I think.
Yeah, we're probably something similar, to be honest.
Yeah, but at least we've got some sunshine going on.
Yeah.
Always have some sunshine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just a little.
Okay. Well, why don't you go ahead and tell everybody about yourself there, Jack?
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Jack Gill, and I'm a musician from Liverpool in the UK, primarily in the genre of rock and roll. Myself and my band, The Overlook, are looking to bring that old school, old style, old soul rock and roll back to the forefront of music.
Sounds awesome.
Right, and you said The Overlook. Is that the name?
Yeah, The Overlook, yeah. So if you're a Stephen King fan, you might catch the reference.
I have not read a lot of Stephen King. I'm a fan of his movies, but
yeah. So it's actually based on the hotel from the movie The Shining. So the Overlook Hotel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
well,
that's a reference to that.
Yeah, that hotel's in Colorado. It's about 6.5, 7.5 hours away from us.
Yeah. I would say it'd be nice to visit, but maybe not after what we've seen.
I don't want to go spend the night.
No, me too.
No way. I think they had one of those shows, Ghost Hunter shows in there, and I think that freaked them out, and they left.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me that, to be honest. You'd have to be pretty brave to spend a night there, wouldn't you?
So I guess you're a fan of horror, huh?
Yeah, so the idea for the name was, so the original concept of the band was, it was originally going to be based around Rosemary's Baby. The reason being is that obviously with Rosemary gives birth to essentially the Antichrist, which is to sort of go against the grain. So the idea of our band is that we were, especially more so in the UK, probably not so much in the States, but a lot of the music that comes out now sounds the same. Rock and roll's not really rock and roll anymore. It's, soft sort of pop rock. So we wanted to give birth to the Antichrist of what was going on at the moment. Yeah. So that's the idea. So that's what the band, and then we thought we sort of looked out for Rosemary's Band. It sounds like it's led by somebody called Rosemary. My name's not Rosemary, unfortunately, so it didn't quite work. So we thought we'd find another horror reference in there, and the Overlook seemed to work.
Oh, that's awesome. Horror seems to be pretty hot right now. It's all over here.
Yeah, it seems to be
resurgence.
It's making a bit of resurgence, isn't it? It probably sort of peaked in the 80s and died down towards the end of the 90s into the noughties. But yeah, it seems to be coming back again, which for horror fanatics like me is only a good thing.
Oh, yeah. Now tell us, where can they buy your music? Where are you at?
So we're on everything. So Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes if you want to buy it. Deezer, basically pretty much everywhere, YouTube as well. So yeah, if you just type in Jack Gill, it will come up as the first result.
Okay. All right. And how much music do you have out there?
So how it started as I was sort of did it as a solo project initially, just before the pandemic began to hit. So September 2019, I did my first sort of gig. So we play like the club scene in the UK. That's where sort of indie artists tend to start. Over here we do the clubs and stuff like that, and then hopefully progress onto different things. So I started out solo, and then only got about 2 or 3 sort of big gigs in before the pandemic hit. And over that time period, I was able to sort of rethink and have an idea and a better understanding of what I wanted to do going forward, which is then when I began to put the band together. So it still does come under like Jack Gill when you search it. So I think there's at the moment 4 singles, I think it is, and a live album as well. But we've also got more coming in over the summer. So there's an EP that we're releasing this year. We'll say EP, it's sort of a mini album. And then that will then come under Jack Gill and The Overlook from then on.
That's the great thing about this, doing this stuff over the internet, to where you could release things separately like that until you build. I think that's great.
Well, I mean,
yeah,
even back in the old days, they released singles on vinyl every once in a while.
Yeah, every once in a while. It wasn't as big of a thing till now. And that's because everybody's so hungry for new music.
And I think it's a little easier to distribute digital music than it is the vinyl albums, too. Mm-hmm. Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, Jack, on that one, but I believe it is.
Yeah, it is. So it's pretty straightforward, and it's cheap to find your own distributor now. So, for example, I use a distributor called DistroKid, and it's just an annual membership that you pay, and you can essentially upload unlimited music to all the platforms at that point. I think it works out US dollars. It's about $35 a year. So it's peanuts if it's what you're hoping to do and you're looking to put music out there. At the same time, because anyone can do it, there is a lot of watered down stuff out there as well at the same time, so it can be a little bit more difficult to get your music out there because there's so much, if that makes sense. Whereas previously, down the organic routes of, just contacting radio DJs and finding a publisher with a record label, it tended to be, probably a bit better. But yeah, so it has its pros and cons, really.
Oh yeah, I know we get hundreds of submissions every week. Mm-hmm. So
yeah.
For the people listening, if we haven't responded to your submission just yet, be patient because we will. We go through them manually and we listen to each and every single song.
Yes. Yeah, that takes a little while to do. It's a full-time job, actually.
Yeah, it always starts out as something you like to do on the side as a hobby, doesn't it? And then before you know it, it takes over your life, doesn't it?
Yes, it really does.
Well, which in this case is a good thing.
Yeah, it's a totally good thing. Because it's definitely. Like with anything, like with you and your art, you want to do it once you get into it and you're doing it every day. It becomes a joy.
Well, just like when you're doing a live show, Jack, you kind of get the feedback from the audience, right? And so it kind of pumps you up a whole lot. And then they get pumped up, then you get pumped up even more.
Yeah. No, that's exactly it. Yeah, play to the crowd.
Are you excited to get back to doing the live shows?
Yeah, so absolutely. I mean, we were lucky. So I mean, as I say, I'm not too sure what the sort of the rules and regulations are where you guys are based at the moment, but ours were sort of lifted, sort of last summer and going into. So the tail end of the year, we managed to get a couple of gigs in. So that first one back was unbelievable. We played a show in Manchester, which is not too far from Liverpool. It was in the middle of summer, so it was roasting hot where we were, but it was a really good crowd and stuff, and it was just amazing, just actually being back on stage and being able to do it. I mean, we've been dreaming of it for however long we were in like the lockdowns and stuff for, so to get back at it was brilliant. And then we managed to play a couple of shows. It averaged around 2 a month, so from the end of August up until December. So we were really happy with that. We've then been doing a lot of writing and recording for the beginning, much earlier on for so far this year. So we've actually got our first show back 2 weeks today in a club in Liverpool, which is it's a pretty good club for musicians and stuff. So yeah, we're really looking forward to getting back to it.
That's awesome.
Oh, absolutely. And yeah, we over here we're getting pretty much back to normal. They're starting to lift the bans on the mask in public places, all except for the kids still have to wear them in the schools, and we still have to wear them in like doctors' offices and hospitals. But other than that, we're pretty much getting back to normal, or as normal as can be compared to what it's been for the last couple of years. So, would you like to play one of your songs?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go for it.
Okay, which one do you want to play first?
Shall we start with the latest release, I Want It All?
All right. You want to go ahead and let people know about this song? Is there anything in particular?
Yeah. So this is our first release for this year. So this is the latest track. It came out 3 weeks ago, I think it was. Performing really well, sort of stats-wise, when we've been checking it out. And the feedback's been amazing, and we're really happy. So it's a bluesy rock and roll number. So sit back and enjoy.
Awesome. I Want It All by Jack Gill. Man, that's an amazing song.
Mm-hmm, I like it.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Your vocals are awesome.
Thank you.
So, I mean, that's what stood out for me when we heard your song when you submitted them,
Mm-hmm.
So,
now, how many people are in your band?
We're a 4-piece. So there's me. I'm the lead vocalist and rhythm guitarist. Then I have a lead guitarist, bass player, and drummer.
Okay. All right.
And you don't want to mention their names because you're and selfish.
Yeah.
Selfish.
I heard shellfish.
Yeah. Typical lead singer. I like to take all the limelight. Nobody else is allowed to have anything. No. So it's Sam on the lead guitar, Jay's on drums, and Charlie's on bass.
Hi, Sam, Jay, and Charlie.
Yeah. So we are going to be doing, I don't know if you know about our show, but we do your interview on Thursdays at 4 p.m.
Yeah.
And then we also do a replay Saturday at 6 p.m. our time. So, and that's on stlhits.com.
The Daddy Murr and Nina Show.
The Daddy Murr and Nina Show. That's why I'm not not really a singer.
I'm not a singer either. I can't carry a tune.
Yeah, we do what we can. Right?
Yeah.
The only time I carry a tune is when I have the radio in my hand.
Somebody's got to present, haven't they?
That's right. Everybody has their jobs.
Exactly.
My job, it says, make a joyous noise unto the Lord, but it doesn't say anything about it being a good one.
Exactly.
I've heard him say that a lot. Now, just to let everybody know that they could find us on Twitter at Twitter.com/STLHitsRadio, Facebook at STL Hits, Instagram at the Daddy Murr and Nina Show, and right here on STLHits.com.
And you can find Jack Gill everywhere at Jack Gill.
Yes, and where are you?
Yeah, so it's Twitter is at Jack Gill Music 2. Instagram is just Jack Gill Music, and same with Facebook. If you type Jack Gill Music and YouTube, it should come up as one of the top hits, and same with Spotify and stuff as well. Yeah, you can't miss the hair. you should see that. So if you're struggling to find me, just look for the hair.
Just look for the hair. That reminds me of the hair bands back in the 90s. Just look for the hair.
Yeah.
Is that what you're kind of going for? Is a mix between the older rock and the hair bands?
Exactly. That's exactly it. You've nailed it. That's exactly what we're looking for.
Well, you're doing a good job.
And
Thank you.
Who inspires you? Who did you grow up listening to that you love?
So it's going to sound so extremely cliche because I'm from Liverpool. But the Beatles, of course. The Beatles are my favourite band. The reason being is that my dad is a massive music lover too. So whilst people were listening to sort of like Humpty Dumpty with his nursery rhymes, I was brought up on like Yellow Submarine and stuff like that.
Really?
So yeah, so from a very, very early age, and like Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds and stuff. So from like a very, very early age, I was introduced to the Beatles, and then the love just sort of continued to grow throughout time. And then as I've sort of gotten older, you come into yourself a little bit more, don't you? So when I was sort of a teenager, the main sort of thing for me was, I still do, I was a massive hip hop fan. So the sort of the classic hip hop, like 90s and stuff like that, that was what I sort of grew up on. And then as I've gotten a little bit older, I mean, I have just such a wide sort of taste in music. So like Tom Petty is one of my favourite artists as well. Bob Dylan, AC/DC, Nirvana, Foo Fighters. So a bit of everything really. But yeah, so for me, sort of the peak era for rock music is like 70s. So that was like the style that we try and go for. It's 70s with a sort of a modern twist is what we go for.
Well, I seen an article the other day. We just lost one of the Foo Fighters, didn't we? The drummer.
Yeah.
Yeah, Taylor. Yeah.
Yep. Well, rest in peace. And
yeah,
they actually made a movie called Studio 666.
Yeah, I caught that. Yeah, they
Have you watched it yet?
No, not yet. It's like a spoof horror film, is it? Something like that. Yeah.
Definitely a B flick.
I'm a big fan of the Foo Fighters. Love them.
Yeah. They were due to tour, or they were on tour, but unfortunately they've obviously had to pull out. But they're actually over on in the UK. My sister was going to see them in Manchester, but obviously some things can't be helped, can they?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, unfortunately, life is life, and it throws you for a loop every once in a while.
You never know what's going to happen.
That's it.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know what's that Latin saying? Seize the day.
Carpe diem.
Yep, carpe diem. Seize the day, because you never know. Like you said, you never know what's going to happen from day to day, from minute to minute. So, all right, hey Jack, let's play another one of your songs, buddy. Which one would you like to hear this time?
Yeah, so up next, shall we go for, as we're obviously coming into the summer months now, this was a song I'd written in the first sort of lockdown called With Me. It's got like a summer vibe to it. And it was just about sort of everyone was feeling a bit down and low, and it was about looking forward to the times when we were unlocked and able to sort of go out with friends and enjoy ourselves. So that's the whole point in the song. It's got a nice, probably sort of West Coast Americana sound, to be honest. So hopefully you guys should enjoy this one too.
Oh, great.
With Me by Jack Gill. Man, every time you have a lot of elements going on in that song, because every time, like different sections, I think this reminds me of somebody in particular. Then the next section will remind me of somebody else in particular. And it just kept on going down the line. And it's a great, it goes along with the ballads of the 80s and 90s.
Yeah, it does. Thank you. Appreciate that. That was the idea, to be honest. It's there's a lot of influences on that one. Like sort of lyrics wise, it's sort of written from like a singer-songwriter type thing, like Bob Dylan, sort of Tom Petty. But then if you listen on the choruses, I was listening to a lot of like Weezer at the time, so it's got that sort of bouncy 90s sort of grungy guitar vibe to it. But yeah, that was the idea, so it's good that that's come across that way, to be honest.
Well, if that was the idea, you nailed it right on the head, man, because that's awesome.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, Weezer was so popular, and I think I was in my 20s whenever we used to go to the clubs and stuff back in the day.
I never went to the clubs. I was a good boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Brings back a lot of memories saying that name.
Yeah. To be honest, they had a really good run, didn't they? When they had like the Blue album, I think they call it. It's got like Say It Ain't So and stuff, and then they had those couple of albums. But they've got a really sort of underrated band, in my opinion. They've got some of the sounds. They've just got a really good sound to it, and the sort of the idea of like the preppy schoolboy, which is sort of cool now, isn't it?
Yes.
Whereas back then it wasn't really, was it? But it's sort of flipped on its head where that's the They're the cool guys now, aren't they?
Yes. Yep. There's a lot of stuff coming back from that time frame. You know, everybody's missing it.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Good times.
So what do you guys what do you do for fun over there? Like what's a big attraction in your area that people love to do?
Where I'm from, the two biggest things in music and football, well, soccer, it'll be known to you. So, of course, Liverpool Football Club, my team, one of the biggest football clubs in the world. So a lot of our tourism comes from here. The city of Liverpool in itself is just historically musical, thanks to sort of like the Beatles. So again, that's where we get a lot of our stuff. So you speak to most people, and the two of them go hand in hand. They'll go out, or they'll go to the football, or they go and watch the football, and then they'll go to a gig in the night. So there's the Liverpool music scene is really sort of vibrant. So you've got so many different venues in and about. That tends to be what most people's weekends get made up of.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah,
Very cool.
We're huge sports over here, you know, with the St. Louis Cardinals and people love to do a lot of that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, the baseball and football stuff, and you know, soccer's coming back to St. Louis too. They're supposed to be building another soccer stadium and having. I don't know if they did it already or not.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't really keep up with that kind of stuff too much.
There's so much stuff going on. Oops, sorry about that.
No problem. I've got one myself, so I know how they can be.
Usually she's pretty quiet, but something's got her going.
Yeah.
We got our guard dog here today, so.
Yeah. So the soccer thing over there in the States, is that caught on yet, or
is that what?
Has it like sort of caught on? Is it any bigger? Because I know it sort of did get a bit of a sort of an uplift, didn't it? But I mean, is it something that you guys can see?
Well, when I was younger, soccer was really big, and it's coming back. You know, I think it's slacked off for a long time. But it's coming back, and with the younger generation, I'm seeing more and more kids playing soccer again. And like I said, St. Louis, I mean, was supposed to be building another stadium, or at least it was in the talks. I don't know if they, you know, how far along they've gotten with that. But, you know, when the Steamers was here in St. Louis, soccer was huge. But that, like I said, that was back in, you know, early 80s, mostly the 80s.
Yeah.
But
it's crazy, isn't it? Because the way it hasn't really caught on in the States, whereas it's like the number one sport pretty much everywhere apart from the States, isn't it? Which
Absolutely.
It's crazy, isn't it? That it's a bit of an anomaly, really, isn't it? That it's not sort of like that. It's crazy.
Well, I think for here, baseball and football really take the reins.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, not your football, our football.
Yeah, the difference. The one with the hands.
Yeah. I think that's so strange why we call soccer football. I don't know why that happened, considering, like you said, to the rest of the world, it's
soccer or football.
Football, yeah.
Football, yeah. I suppose you need to differentiate between the two, I suppose, so.
Yeah.
Well,
makes sense.
You know, so what? I had a question in my head, and it was just, you know, you hate those moments where you have something going on in your head, and all of a sudden it just disappears, and you can't seem to find it.
Yeah, happens a lot.
Especially the older you get. I literally saw the light just flit through your eyes.
It just went out. The light bulb went out in there. It just completely went out. So you have any plans for coming over to the U.S. or anything anytime soon?
Yeah, have you been here before?
I haven't, no, unfortunately, but I mean, I love the States, like everything about it. I love American film, I love American music, I love American culture. Me and my partner, we are actually planning, we were planning to come to Boston this year and do a bit of a tour sort of around that area, but it's probably going to get pushed back now just because of COVID and stuff like that until next year. But we both say regularly, we've got the feeling that once we go, that will be basically our holiday for the rest of time. Essentially, we'll just try and go and see as much of the state as possible because, yeah, I mean, I just love it. I love everything about it. I love how you guys like celebrate like Halloween. Like you don't get that over here. Yeah, that's what I mean. And even like Thanksgiving and stuff like that. I just so yeah, I mean, the dream would be to be able to play some gigs over there, but yeah, we'll holiday first and then go from there and, hopefully see how we end up.
So what's the attraction to Boston?
So my partner especially, she loves like witches and stuff like that, so she really wants to go to Salem.
Yes.
Yeah. So we were hoping to go around, if not on, but definitely around sort of Halloween season. And make the most of it, basically, because as I'm sure you've picked up by what we were discussing before, like I love all things spooky, and my partner loves it as well. She's a white witch, as she likes to say. So,
yeah, that's getting more popular now too, along with the horror films. Yes,
it is. Yeah,
people are going Wiccan.
Yeah,
I think that's what they call it. Yeah.
Well, that's one religion of the Order of the Witches. There's multiple different religions, you know. And
I just learned something new.
One of the other, you know, I mean, there's sadism, which is not what everybody thinks it is. It's a different type of religion. It goes more toward what they call the dark arts or whatever. And then you have the Wiccan, and then you have the Druids. Yeah. Which is, you know, it used to be mostly women as Druids. You know, that's the Druids. They celebrate nature a lot. So there's a lot of different branches, just like with anything else.
We've talked before that we would love to go see Salem.
Oh yeah,
It's so interesting, isn't it? I mean, because just like New England in general, isn't it? It has a lot of sort of history and spookiness and stuff like that about it, doesn't it? So it's just really interesting, and yeah, we'd love it.
I think anywhere over there would be spooky.
Yeah, I agree.
In that area because of the history.
Oh,
exactly,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Because of the history. I mean, it's like a lot of different places down south that's kind of spooky. Open fields are spooky because of the Civil War.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
But
cool.
How much time? Okay, we got a little bit of time left here still. So you want to go ahead and play your next song?
Yeah. So this one is called "Ballad of a 90s Kid." So this is actually a bit of a horror tale. When I'd written this song, I originally began again during lockdown because we all had so much time on our hands. I was reading Stephen King's Salem's Lot, and then it then just gave me sort of a couple of ideas to write a short horror story about a man who sells his soul to the devil, and then was then able to translate that into shorter form, into a song, into essentially a ballad, with the sort of the play on that the man in red, the devil, is the greedy music executives that every band seems to talk about, and promoters and stuff who are just there to make the quick buck on the bands and the artists. And I mean, I've come across them myself, sort of dealing with them and stuff like that. So it's a bit of a play on that, as I say. So yeah, this one, for all the horror fans, you should enjoy this one. This is Ballad of a 90s Kid.
Awesome, man.
Thank you.
Go ahead. She looks like she wants to say something.
Uh-oh.
we was getting ready to talk at the same time, and we both stopped. I hate when that happens.
Oh, it happens every day, you know. Yeah. So where can they buy your music again? We're gonna make your yourself.
Yeah, no problem. So it's like, so if you want to buy it which I would appreciate if you did, rather than stream it, which is what most people tend to do. But of course, streaming as well. So it's like iTunes, Amazon, whatever it is that you're on. But then, yeah, feel free to stream it. It's all on Spotify and stuff like that, which tends to be the go-to nowadays, doesn't it? So it's all on there. So yeah, get stuck in and enjoy.
Okay, sounds good.
Go out there and buy Jack Gill stuff.
That's right.
You'll be able to cherish it forever.
Exactly.
Digital copies don't warp. A lot of bands are starting to reproduce stuff on vinyl now again.
Yeah. So I mean, the EP that's released later this year, we are going to do. Well, I haven't told the band yet, but we are going to do a couple of pressings on vinyl as well. Only because I love vinyl. I mean, I'm starting to build up quite a collection now. So yeah, it's something that I want, just personally for myself, just to have it there on vinyl to be able to stick it on. As you can see the player in the that side in the background. Yeah. So yeah, I love vinyl, and I love the fact that it's coming back. But of course, the downside is to it now. It is coming back. When you try to buy sort of old vinyls, all of a sudden they've shot up like sort of 40, 50 odd pounds in price. So,
well, see
what made
vinyl sound back when I was younger was, most record players was in large wooden cabinets.
Right,
and I think that large
in there and
the radio and everything inside this large wooden cabinet that took up half your living room wall. And I think that wooden cabinet really made the sound, because you it's one of those things where you can't get the sound from the newer record players now, because they it's just different. It's just a lot different.
Did you grow up with one of those?
So yes, so my dad, no, so we didn't have one of those ones, but my dad had like a pretty good, like, sort of professional style sound system. Okay. So if you plug the turntable into it, so when I used to sort of live at home, I plugged my turntable into it just to see if it would still get that really good sound, just because he had like an old style system where it's got like whatever you use, a CD player, vinyl player, whatever, with an amp and then speakers, so the sounds would still generate that really nice sound. So yeah, you are right in the sense that you can't get that sound, but I mean, like, now that one I've got there, it's just sort of for living space wise, it works because it's a bit smaller, but I will eventually branch out and get like something that's a lot bigger and stuff like that. If you get like the right amps and that, you still can get a really nice sound from it.
Yeah, we had that upstairs in the dining room, and I had my own little Barbie suitcase record player that I used like crazy.
I had a suitcase too, except for it was blue. It was a blue suitcase, and the speakers popped off the sides.
Oh, mine didn't pop off.
Yeah. Yeah, the speakers popped off the sides, and you can set them up or just leave them connected to the suitcase type deal. But we'll see, back then, with like cereal boxes and breakfast cereal and stuff like that, they would have these little plastic records discs that you can get that would peel off the back of the cereal box. You could put it in a record player and listen to whatever song that they're, it could be Elvis, it could have been the Beatles, it could have been anybody.
Well, I
on
know
that little plastic record.
I was rocking out to Elvis in the Ghetto and and Anne Murray on a Pedestal. That was my favorite record. So funny.
Well, maybe when Jack gets his stuff on vinyl, that'll be your favorite record.
There we go.
Yeah, well, I'll be sure to if you send me the address, I'll make sure we post one to you, and then you can try that stuff out and see how it sounds yourself on your nice Barbie, your Barbie record player.
She might have to go to Barbie's townhouse and steal it back from her.
Yeah.
Who knows how much that would be worth today? I think
probably a lot. Probably a lot. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I wish I had some of the stuff that I had when I was a kid. The Matchbox cars and everything else. Man, those things are expensive now when you find the originals.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
I've seen some of those Matchbox cars go for $10,000 on the Antiques Roadshow TV show.
Yeah. Oof, my brothers said the same thing about their Transformers. They're like, man, we should have kept that. And the old He-Man stuff.
Yeah, a big one's like sort of like 80s Star Wars figures as well. Like if they go quite a lot, if you see them on eBay and stuff like that.
Yeah. See, and they used to pop their heads and arms off, because they'd play battle. And
Yeah.
everything would just be thrown all over the place. My poor Barbies would be missing their hair because it got burned off in the last battle. They were terrible.
Well, we are getting close to the end of the show, so we want to thank everybody for coming out and listening to the Daddy Marnina show with Jack Gill today.
Yes.
And have a great evening. Jack, go ahead and give yourself a little promo for about a minute, and we'll call it a day.
Yeah. So, like I said, you can catch me on pretty much all the social media platforms. So, Twitter is @JackGillMusic2, Instagram @JackGillMusic, Facebook Jack Gill Music, and of course Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes, all under Jack Gill. It is the first search result that comes up. So, yeah, as I say, check it out and get involved. And thank you to you guys too for having me. It's been a blast. And when we release the EP later this year, maybe come back on and chat to you guys again.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Keep us informed and, stay in contact and let us know what you're doing.
Yeah.
We will,
definitely.
that's what we're here for. We're here to share, and to get you heard.
Good.
So.
Thank you. Appreciate it. And thanks for having me once again.
Well, thanks for being here, and everybody have a great evening.